Chapter 56. The Cover-Up That Reveals All. Grace, don't misunderstand. There's nothing between us. Ava took a step back, dodging Adrian's hand as he tried to wipe away her tears. Her words were clearly trying to cover something up. The tender, pained expression in Adrian's eyes as he lowered his head to wipe Ava's tears. Grace had never seen him look at anyone that way before. The wound in her palm tore open again. She forced her lips into a strained smile directed at them both. "What's wrong, Ava?" "Nothing." Ava shook her head, her voice still hitching. "Mom fired Mr. and Mrs. Quinn. I couldn't find her, so I came to ask Dad why." Grace was taken aback. She hadn't expected that to be the reason Ava was here. When she was very young and her mother was hospitalized, Mrs. Quinn had taken care of her. But she'd been so little then, the memories weren't very clear. Later, after her mother died, Monica often came to look after her, and Mrs. Quinn spent less time with her. Then Monica had Ava. When Monica was pregnant, Grace had been afraid that once Monica had her own child, she wouldn't love her anymore. She was only 4 years old at the time, saying whatever came to mind. Compared to her biological mother, who'd been in and out of hospitals from the moment she was born, Monica had cared for her far more. Grace's feelings for Monica ran deeper. She'd been terrified of losing Monica's love. At the time, Monica had just patted her head and said, "That won't happen. Even after I have this baby, the one I'll love most is still my Grace." And Monica had kept that promise. After Ava was born, she was handed over to Mrs. Quinn to raise. From then on, Mrs. Quinn primarily took care of Ava, while Monica handled all of Grace's daily needs herself. Perhaps because Mrs. Quinn had raised Ava from infancy, Ava had always been especially close to her. Grace could understand that feeling. She felt the same way about Monica. In her heart, Monica was her real mother. But Mrs. Quinn was just a servant, while Monica was, in name at least, her actual mother. "I should go. You two talk." Ava kept her head down as she quickly exited the elevator. As she brushed past Grace, her gaze fell on Grace's hand clenched at her side, knuckles white. Ava's reddened eyes curved slightly, revealing a victorious smile. So upset. How wonderful. Ava lifted her hand to wipe the tears from her face. Adrian and Grace stood face to face in the space she'd left behind. The elevator doors slowly closed. Grace didn't step inside. She looked at this man she'd loved for so many years. She wanted to ask him, "Why didn't you show up at the engagement party? Why didn't you answer your phone? Why were you with Ava?" But the words reached her lips and turned to nothing but bitterness. She didn't dare break the surface. She was afraid that if she did, they'd be completely finished. She'd loved him for over 20 years. It had taken so much effort to be with him. She didn't want to give up so easily. Adrian said, "I'll take her home first. We'll have dinner together tonight. I'll have Logan send you the address later." At those words, Grace's body went rigid. Right in front of her, his girlfriend. He was saying he needed to take Ava home. What exactly did he think she was to him? Adrian's gaze swept briefly toward Ava walking toward the exit in the distance. His calm voice carried a barely perceptible trace of urgency. "Grace. She was injured recently. You know she saved my life before. When she's hurt, I can't just ignore her." After saying this, without waiting for Grace's reaction, he brushed past her. Grace turned stiffly. She watched Adrian's retreating figure, his long strides. His steps looked hurried, as if he were rushing to meet a lover he'd been longing for. Adrian had always been calm and composed, his entire life. This kind of behavior was completely unlike him. Grace couldn't help but ask herself, was it really just about a debt of gratitude? If he knew that the person who'd actually saved him was her, would he treat her as well as he once treated Ava? But she didn't want a love that was only gratitude. She wanted Adrian's love, pure, without any other complications. In the distance, Adrian reached Ava's side and pulled her over, ignoring her protests as he frowned and pushed her into the car. His expression looked extremely impatient. Grace released her hand, now marked with several crescent-shaped wounds from her nails. She thought to herself that Adrian probably was just acting out of gratitude for having his life saved. If no one had saved him back then, he might not be here now. In Adrian's mind, Ava was the one who saved him. The fact that he couldn't stand by when something happened to Ava only proved he was someone who repaid his debts, not as cold as he appeared. When Adrian's car pulled up outside the Hart family villa, Monica had just gotten out of her own car. She recognized his car immediately, and her previously smiling face flattened into a thin line. She hurried forward. Monica had only taken a few steps when the car door opened. A girl in a white dress stepped out of the passenger seat. Her flowing long hair looked especially soft in the harsh sunlight. From Monica's angle, she could see that Ava's nose was red. Monica's expression darkened. "Didn't you say you weren't with him? Then why is he bringing you home?" Monica rushed forward and grabbed her daughter's arm. Her grip wasn't gentle. It hurt. "Mom, slap!" The sudden blow cut off Ava's words. Her fair cheek swelled rapidly. A red handprint blazed on Ava's left cheek. Ava looked at Monica quietly. Not a ripple of emotion showed in her eyes. Monica stared at her own hand, suspended in the air. She opened her mouth about to speak when Adrian came around from the driver's side. The guilt in her eyes dissipated, replaced by disappointment. "He's your sister's boyfriend. Why do you have to destroy your sister's happiness?" Adrian stopped beside Ava. He pulled Ava's arm free from Monica's grip. "Mrs. Mann, Ava was injured." "What could she possibly be injured from?" Monica blurted out instinctively. The words had barely left her mouth when Ava's laughter rang out. That string of bell-like, melodious laughter filled Monica with a sense of dread, especially combined with the red, swollen handprint on Ava's face. Set against that brilliant smile, it was deeply discordant. "Of course I couldn't be injured, because I'm made of iron. I'm indestructible. How could I possibly get hurt?" "Only Grace gets sick. Only Grace gets injured, right?" A cold curve formed at Ava's lips. "Why does Mom think I'm the one destroying Grace's happiness? If the happiness truly belongs to Grace, how could I possibly destroy it?" Her daughter's caustic tone only fueled Monica's anger. "I'm your mother. Can't you speak to me properly?" "Are you?" Ava shrugged lightly. "Aren't you Grace's mother?" Ava finished speaking and, without acknowledging Monica's ugly expression, walked straight into the villa. "Adrian, I know Ava was your first love. You might feel some lingering attachment to her, but you need to face reality. 6 years ago, when you were injured, she abandoned you and went abroad. Your girlfriend now is Grace. You ran away at the engagement party. How is Grace supposed to show her face in New Harbor?